surrounding yourself with agents that share. A lot of times people hoard information, hide what they do, but we're very much so the believers that we'll give you our entire blueprint and it's the execution that counts.
Use each other as a resource because ultimately it's going to bring up our entire industry. I think there's a lot of negative connotation around real estate agents, but I think ultimately we have some amazing people that know a ton of stuff and are really always, putting the client first and ultimately just want to get people the best deal or in the best experience.
Hey everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Agents Who Crush It in Real Estate. I'm your host, Lindsay Favazza, and today we have something truly special for you. Joining us are the dynamic and unstoppable duo, Rebecca Ouimet and Alan Q of the Paradigm team. Rebecca and Alan have an inspiring journey that began in the hospitality industry before they made a phenomenal leap into real estate. Starting out as volume agents under the expert training of Jason Posnick, they've recently pivoted to focusing on their sphere of influence and past client referrals. This year, they've started a new chapter at Coldwell Banker Newton, growing their team to a powerhouse group of 3. Rebecca and Alan believe that while there are many strategies to succeed in real estate, it's about choosing the right ones and executing them well. They've honed their focus on a few key areas that they will share today with all of you. I'm thrilled to dive into their story and strategies. So without further ado, let's shift our paradigm and welcome Rebecca and Alan to the show. Rebecca and Alan, welcome to the podcast today, guys.
Hey, Lindsay, how are you?
I'm so good. I'm so looking forward to learning more about you both and kind of hearing your journey. So with that being said, let's start at the beginning. You guys were in the hospitality industry. What part of the hospitality industry? How did you guys meet? What's the background story here? And take us from there.
Yeah, absolutely. So we started, like, as you said, in hospitality, really working every aspect of it, of restaurants, right? So we went server, bartender, and ultimately I ended up working in events. So I planned events from beginning to end. Obviously had a lot to do with food, but, really catered to whatever the client was looking for. And, Alan assisted in restaurants as well as nightclubs. So there's a huge, dynamic there, or swing, should I say, of experience.
Yeah.
But really, hospitality translates so well to real estate.
So well. I can't tell you how many people have been on this podcast that have said that they started in hospitality. Like so many people. It's either your like restaurant experience or hospitality experience, or you end up being like a teacher or a hairdresser. I feel like all of those work really well in real estate.
No, 100%. So as we like to say, like everyone eats, but everyone also lives somewhere. So it kind of, you meet every walk of life in both industries, and it's super parallel.
Yeah. And you have to learn customer service, and you have to be able to, take some heat. So Alan, what about you? What were you doing? You were also in hospitality.
Yeah, so actually to answer your question about how we met in the restaurant industry.
Oh, yeah.
She was actually my boss at one point. And then I took it in a different direction and went into kind of like building new restaurants, focused on like building systems, culture, hiring, everything in that aspect. And that's truly, I think that's what I enjoy the most, is just creating teams, creating systems, and getting more efficient.
Well, now it makes sense how you probably run your business and that you're probably the one that brings more people into the team and does the hiring and does the interviewing and all that. Like I'm kind of seeing this form. So do you think that that's why you guys kind of decided to partner up and do this? Because you guys had such a different kind of skill set, or what was the thought process there?
I would say so. Yeah. I mean, it definitely, we're both super independent, type A personalities, and entrepreneurs. So real estate kind of provides an amazing culture to, help the elite hit the top, and the people that are, flourishing in all of those aspects do really well.
Yeah. So when did you get into real estate? What year was it?
2020.
2020. Oh, the roughest year to possibly get in, or the best in some scenarios.
It was definitely interesting, to say the least.
Well, I mean, I also understand if you were in restaurant business, why that would be the year that you would bail. So that makes a lot of sense. So what ended up happening? What was the story there?
It almost kind of happened by accident. So I got my license really for my own investments, right? To purchase real estate, remodel properties, and maybe sell, maybe hold on to it. So I'm like, I'm gonna learn a little bit about it. So got into it, got my license, and then I'm sure you probably know when you get your license, everyone finds out and they try to hire you. So I'm like, okay, fine. I'll hang my license at this brokerage, and they gave me a couple leads. And the first week, I converted one of them, and then I got hooked.
You were hooked. That was it.
Obsessive about things, and actually, I told Jason, like, what's the record of most conversions on your first month? He told me 4. I ended up getting 3. Didn't get the 4th once I was pissed, so I just dove more into real estate, just studied everything I could. And yeah, that first year I ended up doing 35.
Wow, that's incredible. Your first year.
Then I told Rebecca, I'm like, you would be way better at real estate than I would be. You should be doing this. So then that came along.
That is so cool. Yeah, that's so cool. So what was your thought process at that point, Rebecca? Were you like, I don't know, I'm comfortable, I want it? Or were you like, yeah, sign me up, let's go?
I was definitely more reserved. In fact, when Alan joined real estate, he was working 2 jobs. And I really kind of wanted him to hold on to that because I was so scared. I'm like, we need an income. We have properties, we have bills, we have all these things. And within like 2 weeks, he's like, I'm quitting my other job.
Just gotta go. Dude.
And I said, all right, like, I guess we're going. But no, it's funny because I would listen to him speak to clients on the phone, and, you know, whether it was cold calling, you know, prospecting, or just following up with, like, you know, clients that he was currently working with. And I was like, in my head, I'm like, this is literally what I do with rooms and not houses. So as the weeks went by, I was like, you know what, Alan, I feel like I need a change. And so I'm going to also full send and just quit my job and went into real estate full time. I definitely had more of a learning curve than you did.
But she's like, if Alan can do it, I can do
it. She didn't say that probably until later, but yeah, that's probably what she was thinking. So you guys decided to team up right off the bat, or were you doing your own thing for a little bit?
No, we were doing our own thing. We were definitely like in that full grind of just volume agents, and we took on everything and anything really. So like even commercial deals, things in New Hampshire. I got my license in New Hampshire. We were going everywhere: Fall River, Gardner. Even went to Springfield a couple of times. We were dealing with FHA clients, remodels, investors, everything. And from that whole experience, I think we learned a lot.
Oh, a ton. I really took the first 6 months of being in there to not only learn from Alan's experiences, but my own as well, and just collected as much knowledge as I could, because ultimately this is it's a large purchase or a large sale, for, if not the largest, for most people involved. So you don't want to half-ass it, I should say, by any stretch of the imagination. You really need to know what you're doing. And real estate is reps. So the more reps you have, the more experience you have, the more cognizant of you are what's going on around you. And really, we're problem solvers, like Alan said. You're putting the team together that's going to get to the finish line in the smoothest way possible. But as we all know, real estate is very unpredictable. So being able to kind of navigate those challenges, and again, I'll go back to it. Real estate is reps. So the more reps you have, you know, the more confident you're going to be that you know what you're doing.
And then we would share reps, right? So like every deal that she did, we talked about it. Every deal I did. So like after a couple of years, I felt like we had the experience of 2 agents, right? In our mindset.
And that's so powerful to have twice as much, you know? So explain to me, you know, a lot of agents, it seems like when you guys were starting out that you were really not working from your sphere as much, that you were really taking kind of cold leads. So put yourself in the mindset now of someone who's listening to this today that's like, oh God, that scares me. I don't want to do that. But like my sphere is not showing up for me yet, you know? What advice would you give to those people that are like, you know, afraid of cold leads?
Cold leads. I mean, everything works as long as you do it, right? So if you put your all into it, it will work out. But what we realized in the beginning was that we were kind of doing a little bit of everything. And I think that's why this transition to this new team ended up benefiting us. And that ended up being our goal, and just being honed in on the handful of things that we want to be great at.
Yes.
If you can help a cold lead too, if you can work through that whole process with someone that you don't know, you really are setting yourself up for success in the future. I mean, it's probably the most difficult thing that you'll do in real estate, to meet someone, you're showing them a home for the first time, and really planting the seeds that, hey, I think we would work really well together. And whether the person is nervous or whether they have a ton of experience in purchasing real estate, really getting them to buy into the level of service that you're willing to provide. So if you can get the initial reps with people like that, that's when you smash it out of the park with your sphere. And you have the confidence to be like, hey, I know I do real estate, but I do real estate, so let's work together.
Yeah, you have to kind of, it's a little bit of a catch-22 with your sphere. It's because, they want to see that you're actually out there doing it. They're actually probably harder to convince in the beginning than a cold lead, because a cold lead, you can kind of fake it till you make it. And you can't really do that with your sphere. So I think it's super important, and it's awesome that you guys were able to, build so fast with that cold lead. It proves, like you said, that just do the work and it's going to work out just fine. So that's great. So when did you guys start to build your own team? Was that when you moved over to Coldwell Banker?
Yeah.
Yes.
And what was the thought process to move over to Coldwell Banker to start your own team? Take me back to that thought process and why you felt like that was necessary at the time.
So we live in Newton. We've bought and remodeled a bunch of properties here in Newton, and we wanted this to be our home base. So that was a part of the thought process, and the other half is just being more efficient, right? If we live here, we work here, we kind of want the office to be here, and we really enjoy it here, right? We love this community, and we talked to them. They gave us the ability to create the team that we wanted to build.
That's great. So what challenges have you had so far? We talk a lot about successes on this show, but we also like to dive into some of the, things that have maybe not gone the way that you were hoping that they would go in these last few months of doing this. So what are some of the challenges you guys have faced in growing the team?
Actually, I really love that question, right? Because my idea of experience is, I guess, making mistakes and learning from them.
Yep.
Right. So if you can learn from someone else's mistakes without having to make it, that's fantastic. Right.
Yep.
But these last few months, let's see. Anytime you make a change like this, there's going to be a J curve, right? There's a dip, right? It's a step back for, 2-3 steps forward. And I guess we underestimated that J curve, and just being trusting that it's going to work out. Yep. And if we just keep doing the things and focusing on what our objective is, eventually it will work out, and you just have to believe that, trust the process.
Yeah. I love that idea of there's probably a lot of people that make a change and then immediately think like it's just not working. But you have a really good insight there that that's part of the process, is that you're going to take a couple steps back to take many steps forward. So I love that. I think that's super powerful. So tell me about, I know I had this list here of, being top of mind and video marketing and all that. Will you take us through some of those top things that you guys have really done to be successful? And what is it that, you think are the things that people should focus on most?
Yeah, absolutely. So being a top of mind agent is probably, they all kind of are super important, but it's probably our number one priority. And the way that we have found a lot of success is by hosting events, which we're definitely pulling our...
I think some people that could make that very easy to do, huh?
So hosting events, and also doing little pop buys throughout the year. So organically, we're talking to everyone, whether it's past clients, future clients, or current clients, at least 8 times a year. And we're and it's not about real estate. So, hey, come to this event. Hey, here's our favorite, game that we like to play as a family, which is Monopoly Deal. So
of course,
let us help you grow your Monopoly. So, and, with these events too, it's not just, hey, come and have a cocktail and a free appetizer. It's, hey, let's go and do some mini golfing, or let's go and do some F1 racing and in the seaport. So things that people are enjoying and they don't feel that pressure of, I have to come up with something to talk to, or what if I don't know anyone there? It's very, it helps a lot to kind of focus what the event is that you're doing. And, it pulls different people. It's funny because we've hosted many events and we always have a different group of people. So our clients are meeting each other, but then also as the events progress, it's funny, as Alan says, we grow a little cult, right? So
A community.
Cult community, it's fine.
Where we have one client that's referred us to two others. So now their group of friends is all together, and it just naturally creates, a more comfortable space for them. So those have definitely been things I think that really set us apart.
Yeah, I think everyone's looking for that community and activities, especially after the COVID years. Like, we want to get back out there and do things and enjoy the presence of other people, right? So we love that aspect of it. And honestly, if our real estate career is just throwing events and having fun, that's
pretty good,
right?
Sign me up.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. So you had a couple others here of video marketing. So take me through that a little bit.
Yeah. So I think if you look at a real estate agent and you boil it down, what does an agent do? I think at the very baseline of it, we are marketers and we're advertisers, right? Because why do you hire an agent? From the seller side, you need someone to push that property out and find buyers for it, right? So if you can't do that, then what's your worth as an agent, right? So we focus on the baseline, but then we bring up a notch using social media, using video marketing. We truly believe in that. So we are constantly trying to grow our social media. Follow us on Instagram. I see that.
Yeah, you pointed it so perfect. I always point in the wrong direction, but you got it.
So on our Instagram page, we have to kind of advertise the properties that we have up, right? Because we're constantly trying to help them sell. But we're also providing content that is educational, right? We want to push that intelligence, data, and that's where the paradigm comes in, mindset, and we create content that's educational to buyers, sellers, even other agents.
So I will just add, so once a month we meet and we have a standing appointment with a videographer, about an hour to an hour and a half. And once a month we meet with our other team member and we just list all these different topics we want to talk about in a video, and we'll film 10 videos in one session. And then you have content for an entire month.
Yep.
And that's been super powerful because you can do it once a month, but have, you're staying top of mind on your social media and you have things to post while not obviously spending all of your time doing it. So I think that's a really great pro tip.
Efficiency
for agents. And also you really have to spend money to make money. So some people are like, oh, it's so expensive, but one of our video sessions is more than covered if we pick up a new client. I mean, multiple times over. So it's an investment just like everything else, but it's super powerful, especially in how everyone searches for real estate online now and searches for clients.
And on that topic, I know because this is probably geared towards other agents, she hates video. And when we do these sessions,
you're very good on video though.
She is, right? And if we have everyone there, right, it's fun, right? It's not just you and the videographer, it's the whole team. We're all having fun, we're all coaching each other. It becomes more comfortable.
Yeah, for sure. I love what you said, Rebecca, about an investment. It's so funny that you say that. I just did a training last week where I said, marketing is quite often looked at as, for people that are not feel like they're marketers, they often look at marketing as an expense and not an investment. So when you look at it as an expense, you're like, oh, I spent that money and I didn't get anything for it, right? I didn't have that lead that called me out of the blue and like, they send one postcard and it's like, it didn't make me any leads.
Right.
Well, you can't look at it like that. It's an investment. You have to feed it. You have to continue to invest your money in it until it pays off, right? So I love that you said that because I couldn't agree with you more. And I honestly way too often think realtors overlook that and just think of it as just money coming out of their pocket. I mean, don't get me wrong. You have to be pointed in what you're doing and make sure something's working before you invest more and all that. But like, you got to be able to spend some money to make money. Like, that's just the way it is.
It's consistency. And as Alan likes to constantly remind me too, the social media is a constant way to drip information to clients or to future clients or even to anyone. I mean, we have people that don't work with us that still reach out to us and ask us our opinions on things. And that's because we're constantly top of mind with social media.
Exactly.
And, next time, one of their friends is interested in purchasing or selling their home, they're going to think of us.
Yeah.
Right?
So next on your list was marketing towards your immediate areas. So what exactly does that marketing plan look like for you guys?
So we do believe in the farm, right? So and for those of you who don't know, you're reaching out directly to the people that you live around. So I like to talk about this one thing that we did because we got so many comments and so much outreach from it. So we purchased a dumpster and we door knocked our 300 homes around and said, hey, we're doing a spring clean out. We're not looking for you to do anything for us, but if you have anything that's been sitting in your basement.
So cool.
And we had our sign up on the dumpster, but it was so popular that we're definitely going to be doing it probably twice a year moving forward.
That is such a great idea. If you live in Newton or Eastern Massachusetts, you're not allowed to steal this, but anybody else steal this idea because that is an epic idea.
Please do. I mean, I think it brings a positive light on real estate agents that we always are just looking for something. You really have to make people know that you're invested in the community. And it's those types of things, minimal cost and, just a huge thing.
And it filled up so fast.
Yeah, I'm sure.
I was so wrong. I was like, this is...
No one's coming here.
No one's coming here. Like literally your first
Be surprised at how much junk people have in their trunk.
Oh my God. He was like jumping on the thing, trying to like get everything just smushed down into the dumpster. No, it's great.
She was right.
What's another thing? So we definitely, invest in charities that are in and around Newton. Alan has a golfing tournament that he is sponsoring.
So we're in Nonantum, the lake, and the Nonantum Children's Christmas Party Association. They're hosting a golfing tournament. I don't know when this is going to be released, but you can go sign up.
Yeah. We'll put the link in the show notes. When does the event happen?
I think it's
October.
Oh, this will be out way before that. So yeah, we'll put it in the show notes. Your episode should come out, like mid-August when people are listening right now.
So we're sponsoring that event. Another shameless plug.
Yeah.
Yes. I mean, we just love this community. We grocery shop here. We have a dry cleaning here. We go to a bunch of restaurants here, liquor stores here.
Hey, you are in hospitality, so I would expect that you guys can party pretty well.
Oh, we have what is another thing? Like both of our neighborhoods do block parties in the summertime, and we bring like little giveaways. We did this like really cool. We have dogs. We're dog people, and many people are. So we got my favorite dog water bottle and we put a little carabiner clip with our information and just gave them away. And people were so excited. That's a great community to tap into. I mean, who doesn't love dogs? So it's just little things like that again, we live here. We believe in our, where we live and we want people to understand that, yes, we do real estate, but we also are investing in where we're living.
Yeah. And then you guys, the last thing I have on here is about remodels, and you guys have been doing this for yourselves for a while. So how does that kind of translate into helping you with your clients?
Yeah. So we bought property in Newton and like full gut remodel. And now we rent those units out. And it's been a great experience. A lot of people ask, where'd you learn this? It's kind of just something you just pick up along the way, right? And
well, thousands of hours of YouTube
a lot of
videos.
YouTube videos.
That and a few mistakes, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But you'll figure it out, right? If you just believe that you're gonna figure it out. Like
Yeah.
a lot of things in construction you can like redo. It's never like life ending unless you get injured, I guess. But we also have a lot of friends in construction that have helped us out and
Awesome.
ask questions too. But how this helps in our real estate side is that we don't look at real estate as just buying and selling a house, right? It's an investment, so you want to be able to maintain it. So we talk to a lot of our clients about how to maintain their investment, how to keep their house in the shape that is going to continue to appreciate in value. And when they go and sell, right, this is probably the biggest investment of their life. So how do we maximize on that investment? What are some little things that we can fix that can help your house sell for more, help your house sell quicker, and that would be an investment, right?
Yep.
Maybe it's just paint, like a can of paint versus how much more people come to see the house, how the pictures show, how many people place offers, right? That translates. And then on the buyer side, right, if you could buy a house that needs a little bit of work, you're probably going to buy it at a lower cost. And the amount of work that you do to it is probably going to increase the value, ideally more than the amount of money you put into it. But we get a lot of clients now that want brand new everything.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they have this vision in their head, but that's what every buyer wants. So if you're going to follow the crowd, you're going to walk yourself into a bidding war and you're going to have to pay for that, right?
Yep.
So I would advise clients to kind of go against that thought process and go away from the crowd and then find yourself a deal that way.
Yeah.
So that's where the remodel and the construction knowledge plays in effect, and that's stay top of mind.
I'm sure that is so valuable to your clients to get that kind of advice from you, because there's a lot of people that want to do that, but they're afraid because they don't have that kind of resource to help guide them in that way. So, not only are you helping them to buy the property, but you're also going to give them, some insights and things that you've learned along the way, which is super, super powerful. So I love that. Another question I have for you guys is, what is a crazy story that you've had in your real estate career? I'm sure there's something. Maybe you each have your own, and can you talk about it? I can see you guys like phoning a friend over here. Like, can we talk about this?
To mind, I was doing a final walkthrough with buyers, and the sellers hadn't even started packing yet, and there was someone in the shower while doing the final walkthrough. So for those of you that don't know, the house is supposed to be broom swept and empty. Not someone in the shower. So that was a fun one to try to navigate.
I have one where I was helping this client sell this massive commercial, like I think it was 70, 80 units. And I invested a ton of money into getting it like sold, and it involved getting all the smokes redone. We're talking like probably 100 smokes.
Yeah.
The fire alarm system. There's a bunch of fines on the house, and I invested everything into it. And then we got to the closing table, and he refused to sign. And that deal ended up, he actually got sued by the buyer. He ended up paying money, and then decided that he was ready to sell again. So we go through the whole process again, and ultimately, I'm like, this is not going to work out. So I just cut it as a loss, and
I'm so mad for you.
But I'm a big problem solver, so I always have that idea of like, this can work out. I can fix this. I can make this work.
Sometimes the way to fix it is to cut it off.
So I have to learn the hard way.
Yeah, unfortunately, but that's funny. There's always a shower. I swear everyone has a shower. Like there's like either they go to do a showing and there's someone in the shower. Like there's always a shower story, I feel like. Those are actually more typical, I feel like, than they should be.
Yeah.
But that stinks, Ellen. I can't even imagine how frustrating that must have been. Mm-hmm. Do you guys have another one?
I mean, there's like too many. That one was inappropriate. But no, there's so many. There's so many. Oh, God.
I just love asking. Sometimes I forget to ask, but I think that that's such a funny one because I think that, a lot of people that are listening to this, they run the gamut. They could be team leaders, they could be experienced, they could be brand new to the business. And I feel like a brand new to the business person needs to hear some of that just so that they don't think they're going absolutely crazy when this crazy stuff happens to them. So I love that. All right. So last question for you guys, because we are almost at time here. I want to know what your last piece of advice is for our audience that's listening today. There's a lot of changes happening in the market. There's a lot of, noise right now, I'll say. So what is it that what advice would you give to the listeners today of how to navigate that? Or what advice in general would you give them to help grow their business over the next few years?
Yeah, I think the advice I would give that kind of encapsulates this entire episode is surrounding yourself with agents that share, right? A lot of times people hoard information, hide what they do, but we're very much so the believers that we'll give you our entire blueprint and it's the execution that counts.
Yes.
Right. So everything that we've given today and like how we share with each other and the agents on our team, I think that's going to ultimately better the industry as a whole. And I see you guys are kind of doing the same thing with this in real estate. So commend you for that. I love this platform. Nice job.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Rebecca, any thoughts? Any advice that you have?
I mean, honestly, that's it. I think my favorite way to do that is to host masterminds. I think those are super powerful, and not just with agents on your team. But I think in talking through different transactions with people, talking about certain issues and how you overcame the situation. Actually, one of your agents, Martha Soteropoulos, is like my go-to. I know she's been in the business for so long, and she really is an amazing agent. And every time I come up with a scenario that perhaps I haven't before, I call her. So, or Alan. But we talk every day, so I kind of know if he knows or not. But just use each other as a resource, because ultimately it's going to bring up our entire industry. I think there's a lot of negative connotation around real estate agents. Some of it is warranted for certain situations, but I think ultimately we have some amazing people that know a ton of stuff and are really always, putting the client first and ultimately just want to get people the best deal and the best experience. And that's really my piece of advice.
I think that's awesome. And Alan, you're absolutely right. This is why we do this. We used to do a lot of, we still do, but we have our Crush It events where we bring agents up on stage and they speak about their experiences. And we do it here every Wednesday with our team and stuff too, which I know you guys do. And so it is super important for us to share. I quite often have people ask me, like, on the side, why do you do this podcast? And that is really what it comes down to, is if there's someone that can listen to it and pull something from it, it makes me feel really good. And it makes us feel really good that someone is able to implement, which is the most important part here. And take that advice and improve their business. That is exactly why we're doing it. We want everyone to get better. We want everyone to, have the best shot at success. But really it does come down to implementation. So with that being said, this has been absolutely chock full of awesome ideas. So if you don't implement from here, then you're really screwing up, because there is plenty of stuff that you can take from this episode, especially the dumpster idea. I think that's epic. So thank you guys so much for spending time with us and sharing with our audience. Like I said, I'm going to put links in the show notes for you guys to reach out to them to, obviously they like to share. So I'm sure send them a message on Instagram or Facebook and reach out to them for sure. Guys, I really appreciate it today. Thank you so much. Continued success. I hope you'll check in and let me know how you're doing later on. And I just really appreciate it. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you for having us. Thanks, Lindsay.
Yeah. Thanks everybody for watching and for listening. If you're listening to the podcast or if you're watching on YouTube, we really appreciate you guys. And we'll see you guys on the next episode of The Agents Who Crush It in Real Estate. Have a great day, everybody.
Thank you for tuning in to the Agents Who Crush It in Real Estate podcast. If you enjoyed today's episode, share it with your friends and colleagues, and leave a review on your favorite podcast platform. If you're interested in being a guest, email us at info@crushitinre.com. Thanks for listening, and don't forget to crush it in real estate.